Okay, microphone. Yes, cool. Okay, so I'm going to be going over everything I bought for the e-bike so far, and this value is not correct up here on the screen because of the fact that brain. I'm wanting Winter MB power and stuff, so like the speed controller, the motor, and the far driver display and all that was a package, so that was like 1,800 opposed to 2,000 whatever dollars. So, anyways, we're just gonna be going over everything I bought, everything that we're doing. Go from there. I wanted the price up or anything because I honestly don't know at this point. I probably spent about roughly $5,800, maybe a little bit more. I'm not sure. Anyways, let's start. Enough yapping. So this is a speed controller that we're going with the ND721200, which is a 72 volt system, 60 or 600 amp at 1,200 phase amps. No idea what type of power that's gonna be producing. No idea like I don't know how fast this bike is gonna go. Everyone's telling me around 98, 100. So I don't know. Bike will weigh roughly 180 pounds. Anyways, we got the Magura MT5E brakes, which these are apparently really good brakes. I'm gonna get the brake rotors in the future. Right now I just have thinner brake rotors. But the Magura ones are a lot thicker, which will give us more stopping power, and I'm also going to be running regen. But apparently these brakes are really good. We'll see. I've been using Zoom brakes in the past on the bike that got stolen, and those were okay at best. They didn't have the stopping power I wanted, though, but I think that was more so because of the brake rotors being thin. I'm not 100% sure. So here we have the MB power alarm. This is an 8,000 watt, 19-inch wheel, 2-inch thickness, and this will be pushing whatever power we're putting through it. 3.5T motor, the EEB frame, which is a really good frame. I love this frame. I think the battery capacity is smaller than this, or on this, than the actual steel one that weighs like 50 pounds. This one weighs roughly 20 pounds. I'm expanding the side panels by roughly 10 millimeters on both sides so I can fit the 58.8H battery on there. Right now, it's just super sandwich. I'm working on that. That'll be a separate video for that because I'm going to be doing a part series on this, on me working on it. So here we have the DMM downhill mountain forks, which I am super excited about because I had these on the one that got stolen and they were the best suspension I've ever owned. And it just felt like a pillow. I can't describe the feeling. You just need to have a set to know. All my other bikes have like the spring or air compressed and they just go down. They don't go up. They don't move up and down like this. This one actually moves and interacts with the road. I feel like I have a lot more control and power under that. So that's pretty cool. This is the backpack that I'm using. It's just the LED night backpack. Pretty cool backpack. Works for nighttime riding because it has the red eye so people can see me better. That's the only reason why I have that. Plus, it's a hard case. Do what you want with that. Motorcycle wireless tire pressure sensor just because I am weird when it comes to sensors. I like having sensors for everything. So I'm going to be running this, which will tell me the tire temperature and the tire pressure so we could do some not reviews, some experiments and stuff with that and whatnot, and then go from there because the more we can learn about this bike and how it interacts with all this stuff, the better. And it's just good to have a tire pressure sensor because if you're losing tire pressure and if it's below a certain point, it'll go off like an alarm. And you need to know that when I'm going to be going like roughly 70, 80 miles per hour. Typically, I'm going to be riding around 40, 45. That's my comfortable riding speed. So just having that peace of mind. Set this thermometer. This is just going to be running for... Oh, did I buy the wrong one? Hold on. Yeah, I did. Okay. So the other one that I have will be a temperature sensor for the battery, so I can read that, and then it'll have a second one on the bottom, so I can read the other side, because that'll be the speed controller and the battery, so I can get temperature gauge of that at all times, just with glance down. No, it's safe. Move on. Phone mount, obviously. Phone mount doesn't really matter. German mudguard rear fender. I love this fender. I've slammed it to the ground. I've smacked it around, and this thing just works great. I'm going to have to trim up the size because this is for a 26-inch tire, which my tire is 19-inch, so I'm going to have to cut it to size after I shipped it and get it where I want it. Pretty excited about that. Heated handlebars, 12-volt system, which will be directly connected to my wireless relay system. And I just got to figure out if I can just run it at 12 volts and it'll pull the right amount of power, or if it's going to burn itself out and try pulling too much power and have like a button inverter thing. I don't know. I got to figure that out. More research. Test it, see what happens. I ride all season, but this bike I probably won't ride in the winter just because it's really expensive and whatnot. Just for rear shock, I don't know. This was the first one I threw on the one that got stolen from me and I loved it. So I figured why not replace it with something else. If it works, don't change it. If anyone has any recommendations for any part change, please let me know. So this is the threadless mountain bike road headset, which will go in between the frame and all that. I don't know anything about that. Couldn't tell you. Bike stem riser, which will allow me to adjust it up and down depending on where I want it. I just prefer that raised up higher. That's a preference thing though. Also 60-watt LED. This can run 12 volt, 24 volt, or 36 volt. I love these lights. I have the floodlight version. I may get the spotlight version depending if I outrun the headlights, because at nighttime riding I want full visibility, so I went to floodlights, but I didn't realize the spotlight could see farther, so I may change that in the future. I don't know. It's 65 bucks, and I have to buy an adapter bracket, which I'll find at some point in this video. Now, 40 LED motorcycle taillight. Just, I don't know. I threw it on the first one. Loved it. Loved the look of it. Now, with this, I had to change the plate. So, when you buy it, it's like this. And then I flip the lights to the other side. So, it's more like that, facing out. And it's attached to the seat. And the lights face out this way. And it just works better than having like this, where it's curved in and pointing at the ground. I just don't see the point in that. Or pointing straight up, sorry. So, yeah, this will point more evenly. I'll show a picture of that, or a little video after this of what I have done and all that. So, not much there. We have these two car horns, which actually I have this over here in my bedroom. So, yeah. That is this. Really bad welds, I know. But I'm wiring this so I have two car horns so I can be heard and whatnot. I may have to redo this whole assembly because I think I cut it a little too short. That's my own fault. Gave me some practice with the welder because I have a MIG welder, but I don't know anything about it. I'm just learning as I go with some of this stuff. That should be interesting. But yeah, really loud car horns, cool setup, whatever. These are the brake rotors I'm going with. I'm not happy with the thickness of them now that I've researched it. I know that there's thicker rotors, and thicker rotors dissipate heat better and also have more stopping power. So I'm probably going to change this out in the future. But for now, I mean, $37 for it. I have two of them already. Why replace it with the Maguro ones when that's like $65 a piece? So it'll save a little bit of money. If I can't stop fast enough, I'm going to try it with the regen. If the regen still doesn't work, I'll swap out the rotors. But for now, this should be very much efficient at what I need to do, but I don't know, because this bike's also going to be 25 pounds heavier than the first bike. Okay, so this is my motorcycle headlight turn signal thingamabob. So I wanted to get a full motorcycle switch with high beam, low beam, and all that, but I feel like the wiring harness on that is a little too complicated for me. Obviously, if I spent the time, I could figure it out. But I like this one because it also gives me light indications of what's on and what's off, because I'm notorious for leaving turn signals on the cause wheel, because that has a flickable switch where you turn it. And it doesn't give you any indication that it's on. It doesn't blink, doesn't beep, doesn't have lights, so I don't know. Turn signal brackets, I am using for the headlight up here. With that, I have to get spacers, which I have to replace the spacers because it's slightly off-centered, which is bothering me. The double accessory handlebar, I have that more towards me, so that way I can put my display for my camera system, because I'm going to install a camera system so I can see front and behind me. That way I can look down and see who's behind me before I make a turn and all that, versus getting side mirrors, because the side mirrors break very easily, and also I'm not going to have much room for that, and they don't sit in a proper position where I can actually look at them efficiently. So I feel like the security camera in the back, which is a wide view, will be better, because then I just glance down at the display, see who's behind me, make my turns. I don't even have to look behind me, look back, and then there's a tree. So we're going with that. That's why we have this on there. And it also holds the headlight and the speed controller power settings on the very corners of here and here. That one will be the headlight. This one will be the far driver controller. That way I can adjust the headlight, high, low beam, and all that from a three-way switch. These are the the handlebars I'm using. Not much to really quote here. I've used them in the past. I really like the shape. I'm just rebought the same thing. Anti-theft alarm. Now this motor also comes with its own alarm. So I might have this alarm, that alarm, and then possibly one more alarm. So I might have 3 alarms plus the brake locks and everything else. I might have like 10 different locks for this thing. I'm not taking no chances after the first one got stolen. 10mm thickness spacers. That's for the side panels to help space it, because I don't know how much this foam down here is going to compress. This is what I'm going to use to wrap it around and hopefully, well, seal it, waterproof it, and allow the battery to fit in there, because the battery's going to stick out a little bit. Turn signal handle grips. Open this up, show you guys what that looks like. I don't know. I just wanted them. I want to get green ones because my whole aesthetic is green, but this makes more sense because they light up white, and then when I do turns, it'll turn orange. So, I don't know. Cool touch. I'm going to keep it. Like the look. I just wish it was green anodized, but maybe I could switch that in the future. They don't make it. Here's my wireless relay system, which I got to figure out how to use, but this should be a lot simpler than having 25 different buttons on the actual control box and everything. My last bike was notorious for how many buttons it had, and I didn't like it. Boss audio systems, which will plug into the relay. This will be running 24 volt. They're 12 volt speakers, but I'm running them 24 volt. I have the speaker module under here, and I use that, and it's phenomenal. Perfectly loud, crisp audio, cannot complain. Really excited to have a speaker system on this e-bike. Turn signals for the front, nothing to go over there. They just turn. I mean, it's a light. There's not much to comment. Kids, bicycle crankset, because these wheels are only 19-inch, I have no idea how low I'm going to be to the ground, so I'm just buying kid pedals and going to spray paint them black and throw a chain on there. That way I can do sharp turns like a motorcycle while still having pedal functionality, quote unquote. Obviously, it's going to be really difficult to pedal, but if I can pedal, I can claim it as an e-bike, so that's why we have that. Steering dampener, not much to say there. I don't know much. This is a recommendation from e-bike guy to install one. Not this particular brand, but I don't know. I just found out the rear fork or the front fork has a 3-dot system where there's a triangle shape and you put screws in them. So this fender will fit on that fender or on that fork, and that should resolve my issue. My last one, it was zip tied to the sides and they flopped around everywhere and it was just a headache. So this one just being bolted straight up into the actual fork itself should be a lot more secured. Wire, because I need thinner wires for the turn signals and all that. Green Technology State Array. This will help keep the motor cool on long rides, and I'm going to possibly get heat sinks for that. They told me, I contacted the company, this will not help me with the speed run because it's instant power and all that, so this does mitigating effect. But I'm not planning on running high power all the time because it will probably generate a stupid amount of heat. Don't know. Same thing with the wire again. Now we're installing fuses on all these things just in case, because I'm not sure if it's safe to have fuses or not, so I'm just going to install a fuse on every single electronic component. For the speakers, the underglow, the heated handlebars, and all that, just to play it safe with what they each pull individually. Oh, here's my thermometer. Yeah, this is the one with the 2 temperature. Here's my pedals, and then here's the spacers, and I think that's everything to go over. And now I'll just show you the bike with what we got so far. Okay, so here's the bike so far. Here's the turn signals for the front. They're not wired up or anything. There's the floodlights, 3 light bar system plus 60 watts. Here's the speaker system, which we cut all the access, which I'll show you guys if I still even, yeah, I do. So originally the whole wiring system for this was a lot more convoluted than just this little guide. It had all this, and I felt like that was 1 too much, and 2 is underpowered, so I just replaced that with the module system here, which I'll have fully turned on at all times, because I can just turn it on and off through the wireless relay to keep this on and off, and then control volume from my actual phone Bluetooth. So audio knob, useless. This, perfect. That'll fit inside the seat here with some other electronics. And yeah, right now I'm removing the adhesive, yeah, that stuff, and then replacing it with this, which is 12 millimeter, which all I need is 10, so I can compress it a little bit, and that will fit the battery on both sides because this foam is way too thin compared to, yeah, so that'll be done away. Battery's in here, obviously. Speed controller's in the back here. I'm adding underglow here. So these lights up here, which are 24 volts, stupid bright, they light up my whole room even with the light on or a sun out. I'm slapping around this whole entire bike. I'll slap around here. I'll slap around in the back here, and I'll wire that all up. I have a little strip right here of it. And I don't know. I like these over the dot LEDs, and these are a lot brighter. I just gotta figure out a way if I can adjust it so it's not as bright. If so, I just can't run it on the back like I want to because it'll blind drivers, which I'm not trying to do. I'm just trying to light up so I don't get hit by cars because it's an e-bike. No one's gonna hear me coming, so rear shock. And yeah, that's all I have so far. The battery's being made, the speed controller's on its way, the motor, front, rear tire on its way, and then I'll do a build series with this. We got to replace the top panel. I tried cutting, it was too close to the metal, so got to redo that. This was before I had the wireless relay, so I was going to do a switch, but wireless relay will cut away all that. That's all we have so far, and obviously, like, there's random stuff here, but I will do a whole build series as the parts come in because I sold all my CSGO skins to build this bike, and I'm going for that world record, as you guys know, and I also just want my dream bike, my dream vehicle, basically, because I don't drive to be done, so I figured I'll just sell off all my skins. Here's that bar I was talking about, on-off switch for the headlight. This one will control the far driver. This will have the GPS, or not GPS, sorry, the camera system right here, and then the far driver display will go here, or vice versa. I haven't figured that out yet. I need the parts to come to figure that out. May cut the head tube so it's a little bit smaller. I don't know. There's still some things I need to figure out. If you guys have any advice, let me know. This is only the second bike I built, and I learned a lot through e-bike guy and another guy called Crisscrossing Wires. He helped me pick out the tire size and all that. So any advice, welcome. Till next time, player signing off.